Welcome to the latest episode of the War Journal. So for today, I want to try something a little different. I'm going to read a couple different journal entries and discuss those. But I'm also going to share something very personal with everyone. And it was what I learned in Desert Storm and during this time period before the war, and how it really had an impact and influence on my life. So let me start. Last entry was January 8th, so here we are, January 10th, 1991. These past 2 days have really been rough. Not that we have been doing much, it's more the boredom than anything else. The Secretary of Defense meeting was yesterday, and it sounds like war is imminent, which leads to the madness coming upon me. I was a victim of the mad IV. Kuntz was the one who stuck me. Oh, here is some good news. We are going back to the old night schedule starting tomorrow. Oh, great. Enough for now. Talk to you soon. What will I do when I get out of this place? There was a couple parts of this that were kind of important. Number one, we really didn't know what was happening, and then we got word that the SecDef message really made it clear that we were going to war. And at this point, we were still bouncing up and down the border, and we really were just practicing doing our drills, and we had our op tempo, but it really hit home. This was like the real deal. We knew it was going to happen. And during our downtime, we would do things like practicing IVs on each other and just trying to make the time go by. But it was really a time that was very difficult for a lot of people, including myself. I really found myself captured in my thoughts. I couldn't escape them. I was always thinking, what would we do? What would I do during combat? How can we, make the teams better? What was I going to do after the war? And, I couldn't escape my thoughts. January 11th, 1991. After a productive day of fly killing, which has become my latest passion for the meantime, we are doing nothing again. The threat level has gone up, so fighting holes are being dug in the daytime, and no one knows if we will be working tonight. Besides that, Beaver hurt his leg today and has not returned from the hospital as of yet. This may leave our team without a comm man. Like most deployments and exercises, we had injuries, we had people going back to the hospital and BAS, and for this particular time, we were very short-staffed. We didn't have a lot of people. We didn't have like a reserve bench to draw from. So when somebody got hurt or injured, it really impacted the teams, put a little more stress and anxiety on everyone. January 12th, 1991. It's 11:30, close enough. We just finished digging our platoon fighting hole, which really blew. Everyone is beat, and the working day and night has just begun. We are moles and mushrooms, fed shit, kept in the dark, and dug in the ground. Now it's 8:30 at night, the same day, and we woke up at 11. We are getting ready to leave on a mission, which we only had 5 hours to prep for. And when we return, we will go on duty for 2 4-hour shifts. Isn't this great? Followers of chaos out of control. My mental state is growing worse. Every day I pray for war. I think January 12th really illustrates the pure, utter insanity that was going on within not only our unit, but I can imagine other units, not understanding what was happening, not having a clear understanding of the mission, not understanding when we would go in, what our roles would be. And I think that was really playing upon everyone, including myself. But there were a couple things that kept me going, and I think kept everyone else going. The sense that we were all going through this together, the sense of camaraderie, esprit de corps, teamwork, not letting each other down, not letting your teammates down. We were all in the suck. We were all dealing with it, and there was no escaping it. But it really was all of the conditions, the frequent moves, the lack of sleep, no hot food, no showers, all of those things we could deal with because we were together. And the most important thing for me during that time was, being part of the team and not letting my teammates down and trying to be a leader. And I think the most profound thing that I learned, during my marriage was that it was this same sense of loyalty that I had, not only to my wife, but to my family, to my kids. I couldn't let them down, no matter what. There was, any physical or emotional anxiety or stress or depression or anything, I would hide that. I wouldn't allow my children to see it, my wife to see it. I continued to press through and do everything for my kids. And I really stopped living my life at that point. I lived my life as a father, as a husband, and not who I was. And my identity changed in a way that it shaped everything that I thought was important and that what I had to do in life. Everything became going on the summer vacation or going on a winter vacation, planning for college, saving money, making sure that, my business was running well, being able to provide for my family, and all of those things. They consumed me. They became my primary identity, and I really lost who I was as an individual. I, continued to play rugby and was involved with sports and athletics, but I lost contact with my friends because my family identity, my father identity, my husband identity became primary. And I think that happens in a lot of men and a lot of people. And that was probably, for me, realizing, looking back after reading the War Journal, one of the things that I wish and hope that other people could understand and learn from me is that even though you get married or you have children or you start a family, you lose your primary identity, be who you are, and stay consistent in that. And when I did that after my divorce, I became myself again. It really helped me be a better person, be more self-aware. And I hope that other people who are going through similar situations understand that and can apply that to their own lives. I want to just read one more entry, and really this one is quite funny. January 13th, 1991. I often run into people who claim to have been in the Marines or in Desert Storm or other deployments or OEF, and I can ask them just one or two questions and find out very quickly whether or not they're real, they've been there or not. And the one question I ask repeatedly for people who were in Desert Storm, I was like, "Oh, it was really hot over there, wasn't it?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, it was hot all the time." And people who were in Desert Storm know that it was cold and rainy and miserable, even though we were in the desert. And January 13th, 1991. It has been raining now for the past day and a half with no sign of stopping. This has made for the worst conditions since we have been here. Last night's mission was a goat fuck, and this is leading to my confrontation with the staff sergeant about the team leader position. It was really at this point in the deployment that I think we were all just tired. Physically, emotionally, we were spent, and there was no relent in the wind, in the rain, in the cold. And it was really a time where leadership could have stepped up and filled the void and provided some motivation, provided some information to help us. And they didn't, and we were left on our own accords. But this is really the point in the deployment where it was almost a tipping point. And when I read the next journal entries, you'll see what happened and get an understanding of how the deployment changed at this point. And anyway, I hope you tune in for the next episode. It's going to be a fun one. And once again, I hope you enjoyed this. I really hope you understand how, as an individual, you should never lose your identity and stay true to yourself. And no matter what circumstances you're in. And I really hope this helps you. And once again, please share this with your friends and family. I know that this isn't just for veterans, it's for anyone who is going through challenges in their lives, divorces, separations, custody agreements, whatever they may be. These things that happen to me, my experiences may help you. So I hope it helped. And thanks again for tuning into the podcast. And can't wait to talk to you again.